Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol. Today we're going to discuss the story of Vritrasura and Chitraketu Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 7 to 17. We learned the verse that Vritrasura prayed, Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula. He has 4 famous verses of the many verses he spoke. So it's a very fascinating pastime. It's a very intriguing pastime. So it all starts with Indra, the king of heaven, sitting on his royal throne, being fanned by many heavenly damsels, being praised by many heavenly Gandharvas and singers and Brahmins, and he's just absorbing all the glorification and smiling and absorbed in the bliss of one's own prestige. At that time, this was after a recent victory over the demons. The demigods and the demons are always fighting, and at the same time they're both cousins, meaning they have the same father and different mothers, so they're actually brothers, half-brothers. And they're always fighting, so sometimes the demons are victorious, sometimes the demigods are victorious. They are actually representing the modes of nature, Sattva, Raja, Tama. Krishna says in the Gita, the modes of nature actually are always fighting for supremacy. Therefore, this manifests through different conflicts in this world. And when one side is victorious, they're very happy. They don't realize that they're actually the puppets of the Gunas, the modes of nature. So Indra was sitting on his throne and everyone was praising him, fanning him, and he was thinking, wow, I'm some kind of god. This is actually the mentality of a demon. So he was in the form of the king of heaven, but when this demonic mentality entered his heart, thinking, I am so great, I am such a great controller and powerful personality, then this anartha of pride developed and led to his downfall. Pride comes before the fall. So as he was being worshipped like this, his guru, Brihaspati, entered the royal court in heaven. And if your guru enters the court, the proper respect is to stand up, offer him respects, pranam, and give him the high seat. But Indra was so drunk on the praise he was receiving, he completely ignored his guru. And the guru, seeing his mentality, he turned away and left. And Indra was thinking, whatever, oh, this is so great. But when you disobey guru and offend guru, then all your auspiciousness, all your fame, all your power, everything is, in a moment, it forsakes you. So Indra at that point became very weak without the counsel and the protection and the Shakti coming from his guru. People think power comes from my own strength and my own ability, but really, power comes from tapabal, austerities. And the gurus are always performing austerities. They have so much strength within them, and they can bless their disciples with that. But if you offend guru, then you lose everything. Harauruste gurustrata gurauruste nakashtana tasmat sarva prayatnena gurung eva prasadayat. Always please guru. If you anger Hari or dishonor Hari, guru can save you. But if you dishonor or anger guru, then not even Hari, God will save you. So Indra's guru left. The demigods became weak, and then the demons heard, oh, he offended Brihaspati, his guru has left, so the demons quickly rallied their forces, attacked heaven, defeated Indra and all the demigods' armies, and kicked them out of heaven and achieved their abode. This is what's happening in different fights, in competitions. One person wants to achieve the post of the incumbent, meaning the demigods have the seat of heaven, they're controlling the universal affairs, the demons want it, and then the demons acquire, and then the demigods fight, and they want it. Everyone wants control, even in sports matches. One season, one team wins the World Cup, and then the next time, their teams think, now I'll get it, I'll be in charge, I'll be the leader. So the demons are always aspiring for this position. We see this manifest in worldly politics. Everyone's always fighting from different parties. Different parties are always fighting. And they think, I'm fighting for the poor, I'm fighting for this, I'm fighting for that. Really, they're fighting for their position, for their prestige, for their honor, for their glory. And it's mixed. Maybe some desire this, that, but most of it's for this materialistic desire for name and fame, prestige, position, glory. So, the demons defeated the demigods, and then they all went into hiding and they plotted how to get back the throne and kingdom of heaven. The universal Game of Thrones. Okay? So, Indra, he was very proud and he didn't go and beg forgiveness from Guru and serve Guru. Instead, he thought, okay, let me find some new Guru. Let me find someone who can perform a yagya that will enable me to defeat the demons. So he went to one Brahmin named Vishwarup. Vishwarup had 3 heads. He was a very interesting personality. And he was actually related to both families, the demons family and the demigods family. But he was apparently more on the side of the demigods. So Indra approached him to get some special mantra. He had heard. First he went to his father Twasta, but he said, no, I won't help you. You dishonored your guru. So he went to the son Vishwarup. And he said, I heard you have one special kavacha, which is a kind of mantra armor that makes you undefeatable and unable to be hurt. This is called the Narayan Kavacha. It's a very famous armor. If you chant this, then you become invincible. There's a special process to chant it. And also you're supposed to receive it from a proper guru. You chant different mantras on your fingers and all over different parts of your body, and you meditate on all the different incarnations of the Lord. It's a very interesting mantra. Sometimes Gurudev said if you're under a very dangerous situation, you can chant the Narayan Kavacha or the Nrsimha Kavacha. But the Narayan Kavacha is very, very powerful. So Indra thought, if I get the Narayan Kavacha, I can defeat the demons. So he took shelter of Vishwarup and he did a yagya also. And he got the Narayan Kavacha, but then he did a yagya. So he got the Kavacha, chanted the mantras. Then during the yagya, to defeat the demons, he noticed that in a very hidden way, Vishwarup was offering the oblations to the demons as well as the demigods, because he was from both sides of the family. So he would loudly chant, like when we chant Swaha in the yagya, in the fire sacrifice, this means who we are offering it to. We do all the mandris, all the sakis, all the sakas, all the mahantas. So he was also doing some swahas for the demons in a very quiet way, trying to slip it in, thinking, Indra won't notice. But Indra is very clever. He was paying attention, he noticed, and he became at once very angry. He thought, I have hired you to help me with the demigods, and you're siding with the demons also. So he took his sword and cut off his heads. Indra is like that, Shane rusta, shane tusta. Means they're very fickle. At one moment you get benefit from someone, then you love them. It said people who have some demonic nature, you should not trust them. At one moment they're your best friend. You're so nice. You're so sweet, giving gifts. And then as soon as they do something you don't like, Indra cut off his head. So then what happened? By killing Vishwarup was a Brahmin, and so a great sin came upon him for killing the Brahmin. It's called Brahman Haitya. To kill a Brahmin is a great sin. That sin was so intense. So what did he do with the sin? It's very fascinating. He distributed it upon the earth to 4 types of people. Not 4 people, to 4 areas. He gave 1/4 to the land itself, and taking that sin, 1/4 of the earth, or approximately some portion of the earth, became desert or barren. Then he gave to the trees. The trees then bled some kind of sap, certain sap, which is considered impure. Then he gave to ladies, and they're considered impure during menstruation. And he gave to water. And then water, when it has foam and bubbles, it's considered impure and unsuitable for any kind of worship. So Indra divided his sin. This is the nature of people like that. They did the wrong themselves, but then they don't want to take the result of it. So they divided it to others. And this is sometimes kings or leaders will act like that. They'll do something by which harm will come to the citizens rather than accepting it themselves. So moving forward, Vishwarup had a father. His father was named Twasta. So Twasta became very angry that Indra killed his son, and he decided, now I'm going to do a yagya to kill Indra. So Twasta started his own yagya, and during the yagya he was very angry, and he was chanting these mantras that by the mantras he would get a demon born that would be able to kill Indra. But when you're chanting certain yagyas and certain mantras, you have to be very careful about pronunciation. If you slightly mispronounce in Sanskrit, there's long syllable, short syllable, there's different na, there's na, there's sa, sha, sha. There's many different ways to pronounce words. And if you missay something a little bit, then the opposite result may come. So as he was chanting the mantras for the yagya, he mispronounced a few words, and instead of a demon being born able to kill Indra, a demon was born who was destined to be killed by Indra. It became the opposite. He wanted a demon to come who would kill Indra. But instead, a demon would be born that Indra would end up killing. This demon was Vritrasura. Vritrasura was a colossal, like a titan, huge. And he became the Senapati, the general of the army of the demons. Very quickly, he became the general of the demons. And in this way, they prepared for a huge battle. So we can imagine on the fields of the battle place in the heavenly regions, on one side, all the different demigods assembled with all their celestial weapons, all their celestial carriers, all their infantry and cavalry. On the other side, all the demons. And the demons have very fierce forms, very gigantic forms. It's a very, we can do Manasi Seva of this sometime also.
Some demons that are very beautiful.
Some demons also, Bali Maharaj. Some are very ferocious and some are very beautiful. Why not? Definitely, some are very beautiful, like demigods also. Effulgent, very beautiful. Some are also very fearsome, very strange. We hear about this in the sastras. So it was a very diverse army. A very diverse army of demons fighting the demigods. So in the battle, it was a very ferocious battle. But because of Indra's Narayan Kavacha, they were able to start routing the demons. And many of the demons started to flee in fear. At that point, Vritrasura began to show his noble qualities. He began to chastise the demons. You cowards! It's better to die on the field of battle than to run away like a coward. Someone who dies on the battlefield, fighting a noble war and a noble cause, will achieve salvation or achieve the heavenly abode. And if you flee the battle, you'll be ridiculed by everyone, and also you'll achieve a degraded position in your next life. For a fighter's greatest aspiration is to die on the field of battle. A fighter never wants to die in his bed in old age. They think that's a tarnish upon my name. If a fighter is dying on his bed when he's old, then it's like badnaam. Badnaam means bad reputation. You're saying, you cowards, come back and fight. But they turned tail and ran. So Vritrasura was thinking, okay, I'll take you all on myself. So Vritrasura was very powerful because he was also appearing from the yagya. And he was very powerful. So Indra came forward to fight Vritrasura. And Indra first struck Vritrasura in the match. But Vritrasura was unfazed, and he took his club and he smashed it on the head of the elephant carrier of Indra, Airavat. The Bhagavatam is very specific about the battle. So he said he struck him on the head so hard that Airavat, the carrier of Indra, who appeared from the churning of the ocean of milk and was a celestial elephant, he was thrown back 14 paces. And he fell on the ground. And Indra was very shook. And so Indra collected himself and stood up. And he became very angry and he grabbed his Vajra, his thunderbolt weapon. So there's a very interesting story of the thunderbolt. How did he get this weapon? In order to kill Vritrasura, he thought, I have to get a very powerful weapon. Because Vritrasura was such a mighty demon and the demons were so powerful at that time. So Indra protected himself with the Narayan Kavacha so he couldn't be killed. But he needed a weapon to kill him also. So he went to one famous sage. This sage was named Dadichi. Dadichi had performed so much austerity for so long. This is at the time of Satyayuga. Satyayuga is when you live for about 100,000 years, or the average lifespan. And he had been doing austerities the whole time. Because of his austerities, his bones became as powerful as thunderbolts. And so they approached him and begged him, please, in order to defeat the demons, we need your bones. Otherwise, we're going to be lost, and if the demons control the universe, then everyone in the universe will suffer. So the sage, Dadichi, was very magnanimous, and he said, if I need to sacrifice my body for a greater cause, I'm ready to do it. So just kill me and take my bones. Kill me, take my bones. Okay, he agreed. But Indra said, no. I already killed the Brahmin before and I suffered so much. And I had to divide all the sins. So you have to give your bones to me while you are living. And you have to do it yourself. I don't want to kill you. So the teacher was like, you're not making it easy, you know. So the teacher said, okay, bring raba. Raba means like coarse sugar and yogurt and smear it on my body. And then call many cows. And cows have very sharp tongues like sandpaper. Not sharp, but like rough, like sandpaper. So he said, let the cows come and lick this off my body. And then as soon as they lick it, put more on. Then they lick it, then they'll lick it. Finally, all my flesh will be licked off and I'll just be bones. And then you can take it. And those bones will still be living. And this was the time of Satyuga. In Satyuga, the previous age, life resided in the bones. So if he wasn't killed and if his Atma didn't leave, then just by the flesh living, he would still be alive. So Indra said, if you die, then your bones will lose their power. I want the bones to be alive. So we can imagine this scene in Manasi Seva also. They smeared sugar and yogurt. They called many cows from his ashram. And he said, okay, you have to do this seva. You have to help the demigods. So the Surabhi Mata, the cows began to lick. And they'd put more and more layers on. Finally, all his flesh was licked off. And only the bones remained. And Indra was very happy. And he took these bones and fashioned his famous thunderbolt weapon. So he took this thunderbolt, and when he went into battle with the demons, he was wielding this thunderbolt. So he struck Vritrasura with the thunderbolt and he cut off one arm. Vritrasura was huge, like hundreds of meters high. But with the power of his thunderbolt, he cut off first one arm after Airavat had fallen down. And then Vritrasura became very angry, and with his other arm, he punched him in the counterattack so hard that again Indra fell to the ground and his thunderbolt weapon flew from his hand many paces away. So at that point he was very weak and he was defenseless. But Vritrasura had noble qualities, so he said, okay, rise up, take your weapon again, and then we will resume the fight. An honorable Kshatriya will not strike an unarmed opponent. If that opponent doesn't have a weapon, then they will fight fist to fist. Or if they have a gun, they'll use a gun. If they have a sword, they'll use a sword. They'll fight on equal terms. They won't fight in an unfair way, in proper battle. But then Indra was feeling ashamed, and so he didn't want to get up. And then Vritrasura again commanded him to get up. So in the middle of their battle, one very interesting thing is in the middle of the battle, Vritrasura spoke a lot of philosophy about the nature of the soul, about relationship with God, even about the position of the demigods. And he said, oh, you demigods, you think you're so powerful, you think you're so great. Look at you, you dishonored your guru, you lost your kingdom, all because of your pride. And you think, I am the controller. He said, really the only controller is Ishvara Parama Krishna, the supreme absolute truth. He is the controller. We are very minute, infinitesimal beings. And yet when we become puffed up with false ego, we think, I am some great controller. So Vritrasura chastised Indra. And then they resumed the battle. So in the midst of the battle, the thunderbolt weapon again was used to cut off the other arm. So now Vritrasura had lost both his arms. But he was, at that point, so powerful, he ignored the loss of both his arms, and he made an even larger form by his mystic powers, and he swallowed Indra. He swallowed him up. But Indra, even when he was swallowed, he still had his thunderbolt in his hand. So from inside Vritrasura, he began to cut open his stomach. And he flew out of his stomach and then again resumed the fight. At that point, Vritrasura decided that he wanted to leave his body. And he said, okay, I am ready to go now. So he sat down and he said, now, if you want to kill me, you have to cut off my head. But he was such a powerful demon, so strong that it was not so easy to cut off his head. So as Indra began to cut off his head with his thunderbolt, we can imagine like a fire kind of saw. A thunderbolt, we see like thunderbolts in the sky. Imagine the force of a thunderbolt. So he has a weapon is like a thunderbolt. With this thunderbolt, he was cutting the neck of Vritrasura for an entire celestial year, which is thousands of years on earth. So he was cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. We can imagine like, taking a break sometimes, having dinner, taking a nap, coming back, again starting. For one entire year, he spent cutting the neck of Vritrasura. And as he was cutting the neck of Vritrasura, Vritrasura prayed with these verses. So we're going to read these 4 verses that Vritrasura prayed with, okay? Page 316 in this book, Bhagavatam 6:11-24, okay? Aham hare tava padaika mula dasanudaso bhavitasma bhuya manasmareta supatir gunamste grinita vak karma karotu kayaha. Vritrasura prayed, O Lord, please bestow upon me such mercy that in my next birth I will get the opportunity to exclusively serve the servants who have taken exclusive shelter at your lotus feet. Dasanudaso, may I be the servants of your devotees. May my mind always remember your all auspicious qualities. May my speech always chant your glories. And may my body always be engaged in your service. So this is the very interesting thing, that even though Vritrasura was such a great demon, externally, internally he was a great devotee. So this is a great mystery. Sometimes we think this person looks so saintly, but internally they're a great demon. Like many times demons take the guise of devotees. In Krishna Lila, that's why we see Bakasura. He looked like a tapasvi aesthetic. Vatsasura, he took the form of Krishna's own calf. Pralambasura, he took the form of Krishna's own cowherd friend. So many demons take the guise of devotees. But sometimes someone who looks like a demon is actually a great devotee. And externally he was fighting with the demigods. So how can we say he was fighting with the demigods? The demigods are generally on the side of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu generally favors the demigods. But still, Vritrasura was a devotee. And he prayed like this, I just want to be the servant of your servant's servant. So then the next verse he prayed, 25. Nanaka pristam na chaparamistyam na sarva bhomam na rasadipatyam na yoga siddhira punarbhuvam va samanjasyatva virahaya kangshe. O source of all good fortune, I have no desire to attain the royal throne of Dhruva, Loka, which is the highest position in this universe. I don't want to be like the creator Brahma. I don't want to be the emperor of earth. I don't want my own planetary system or the lower planetary system of the demons. I don't even desire the 8 mystic perfections, which make you like a controller of the whole universe. I do not even want liberation. I don't want anything that will keep me in separation from you. We can imagine his prayer. Would we be able to say that? Okay, what do you want? Anything you want. We can imagine the greatest thing that you could achieve in this world. I don't want it if it means I'm separate from you. Liberation, the kingdom over the whole world, controlling the entire heavenly planets, the lower planets, being the creator Brahma himself, controlling the whole universe. I don't want it. I only want to be your devotee with you and with your devotees. The next prayer. Ajata paksha iva mataram kagaha stanyam yatavat satarak shudharataha priyam priyeva abhyusitam vishanna manoara vindaksha dridrikshate tvam. It's a very beautiful verse. O lotus-eyed Lord Kamalaksha, as baby birds whose wings have not yet grown, who are not able to fly out of their nest, they're always looking for their mother to feed them. They're always longing. When their mother goes out, she leaves them in the nest and she goes out to search for food. And the baby birds are always looking, where's my mother? Where's my mother? And then he gives another example. As young calves are always eager to drink the milk from the breasts of their mothers, the udders of the cows. He's sequentially praying with higher and higher sentiments or rasas. Then he says, as the wife or a lover is always looking, where is my beloved? Sometimes when the beloved or the husband is away from home, she's waiting in her house and very anxious, thinking perhaps something happened to him, perhaps he got in an accident, perhaps he was killed. And she's always anxiously waiting and worried. May I develop that same attraction to you. And may I always yearn to see you. This is his prayer for darshan. That the birds, the baby birds are always looking, where's my mother? When will I see my mother? The baby calves are always looking when the cows are taken separately to graze and the calves stay separately when they're very young in the cow shed. Then the calves are always looking, where's my mother? Where's my mother? And as a beloved is always looking for the lover, may I develop that same kind of love for you. Keshavacharya. Next verse. Mamotama sloka janeshu sakyam sangsara chakre brahmatasva karmabi tvam mayayat mat majadhara gehish vashakta chittasya nanata bhuyat. O my Lord and Master, as I wander within this cycle of birth and death because of my karma, please give me friendship with those personalities who have taken complete shelter of you. Before he was saying, let me just be the servant of the servant. Now he's saying, let me have friendship with the devotees. Friendship with Guru and Vaishnavas is very important because that's how we develop mamata. First, mamata comes for the devotees, then for Krishna. Mamata prema sangata. By mamata, by possessive love, by friendship, then we can progress. So he's saying, let me have friendship with your devotees. In this world, we need to have relationship. And if we don't find relationship with Guru and Vaishnavas, then we'll be bound to seek relationship with materialistic people and materialistic society. So it's imperative that we develop relationship with a friendly mood towards Guru and Vaishnavas. This is called Prakrita Sadbandhuvat. Like they are our dear friends. Without awe and reverence, they're our close friends. We're always thinking of their welfare. We're always eager to be with them. So he prays, let me have such friendship with your devotees. Remember, this is as his neck's being cut off. Such exalted are his sentiments that even in the midst of a very slow and miserable death, he's praying like this. So he's saying, let me always be with those who have taken shelter of you, that all-attractive personality who is Uttama Sloka, who is glorified by the transcendental verses of the Vedas. Let my heart be detached from all those who, under the influence of your Maya, bewildering potency, remain absorbed to their mundane body, children, wife, and home. So in this final prayer of his, he prays something very important. He says, let me develop friendship with the devotees, and let me give up attachment for those who are absorbed in materialistic life and attached to the body and those related to the body. Let me give up that attachment. So this prayer of his tied into his previous life. So when Parikshit Maharaj heard this story from Sukadev, he asked Sukadev, how is it that such a ferocious demon was such a great devotee? Such a powerful demon, fighting the demigods, and yet by hearing his prayers, he was overwhelmed, thinking such wonderful prayers are being chanted by him. Vritrasura even said, those who worship the demigods are very foolish. They try to cross over the ocean of birth and death by holding on to the tail of a dog. He gives that metaphor. If you want to cross over the ocean by holding the tail of a dog, you're never going to do it. So the demigods are like that. You worship the demigods, it's like holding onto the tail of a dog to cross an ocean. It's foolishness. The dog can swim, but if you're holding onto its tail, it's not going to take you across the ocean. So Vritrasura said that. Those who worship the demigods are very foolish. Only worship the absolute truth. So Parikshit Maharaj said, how is it that he was such a great devotee? And Sukadev Goswami said, in his past life, he was Please subscribe down there for our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications and share this with your friends. Radhe Radhe.